Was Suits this year? Did I watch Suits this year? Hello and welcome. Today I have a lot of things I want to talk about, and the best way to describe the type of video that I will be putting out today is a favorites video. However, this is a little different from normal favorites videos because I'm not doing it monthly today. I basically have just done so much in the past couple months, and every time I thought about doing a favorites video, I didn't do one. And then now we're stuck here 6 months later, and I have just like a lot that I want to share and talk about and remember that I've seen these television shows, read these books, watched these movies. For the movies, I do have an app that I use religiously called Letterboxd. So if you want to follow me on there, that will be in the description. But I don't really have an app or a way to keep track of the books I read or the television shows I watch. And even writing up the list today, it was just very long and I couldn't remember everything that I watched. So I do want to keep up with these just so I can have like a little thing to look back on. So with that said, for today's video, we will be going through basically every television show and movie I've watched, as well as every book that I have read and every game that I have played for the past 6 months, at least. So without further ado, let's start talking about the television shows that I've watched. So I did try to compile a list of all of the television shows that I have seen in the last 6 months. Basically, it's a lot because I do almost exclusively watch K-dramas. I actually think every television show on this list is in the Korean language. I do not think I've seen a single English language television show in the last 6 months, which is okay. That's like fine, whatever. But the list is very long because if you're not familiar with K-dramas are typically 1 season long and that's it. They're usually 16 episodes and the story is wrapped up in the 16 episodes. They're really nice in that sense because when I watch a lot of American television shows, they drag on for seasons and I don't usually finish them because they're very long. So that's kind of why I got into K-dramas. I also have been trying to retain at least some of my Korean learning that I learned when I was studying abroad in Korea. I've retained some, but my ability has definitely decreased, which is why I'm rewatching one of the K-dramas for the 3rd time. But the dramas that I've watched in the last 6 months have been Itaewon Class, Crash Landing on You. I watched Memories of the Alhambra for the 2nd time, While You Were Sleeping, Touch Your Heart, The Good Wife, Goblin for a 2nd time, Stranger, the 2nd season, or Secret Forest it's also called, Her Private Life, Cinderella and the Four Knights. There's so many that I don't think I can talk about each one of them individually. They're also all very, very different genres. I have quite a few romance ones, I'll say, but I got really into like lawyer shows. So that's why I watched The Good Wife, which is actually the Korean version of the American television show. Was Suits this year? Did I watch Suits this year?
I think so.
Okay.
I watched it after you got back.
I did? I forgot. I also watched Suits. Of probably my favorite genres, I don't think it's fair to the other K-dramas that I watched because they're all so different, and I do tend to really like the crime, like prosecutor or lawyer dramas. So the 3 like of my favorite dramas that I've watched are, I loved The Good Wife, I loved Suits, I loved the Korean version of Suits, which is also a remake of an American television show, but I really did love Suits, the Korean version. That's probably my favorite one that I watched this year, honestly, other than Stranger 2. Stranger 2, this is all over the place. Suits is one of those K-dramas that I wish that I could watch for the first time again, but it's not a drama that I could rewatch because I feel like one of the beauties of watching the like crime or like court case K-dramas is that like part of the draw is that it's a mystery and it's very like suspenseful. You're trying to figure out how this case is gonna go, and so watching it again, it's kind of like not as suspenseful. So I feel like if I were to watch it again, it would kind of ruin the show. So that's also how I feel with The Good Wife. I don't think that I'd ever be able to watch it again, but it was really good. With that said, my favorite K-drama like of all time this year has to be Stranger or Secret Forest, the second season. I watched the first season. This was my first K-drama ever. It was Stranger, the first season. And that came out in 2017. Since then, I have literally watched so many K-dramas, and it's just so funny to watch the second season this year after I like dove into the world of K-dramas and just became literally obsessed with them. And now season 2 came out, and I honestly think it was better than the first, which is crazy because Stranger 1 has been my favorite drama forever. Stranger 2 was so good. It just ended last weekend. And there has to be season 3. It was just so good. I can't even describe how good it was. It was so suspenseful in ways that I don't remember the first season being. With that said, also, I did not watch the first season as it was coming out week by week, but Stranger season 2 I did, and I think that that also could have affected the way I felt about the drama. I think it just kept the suspense a lot more watching it that way. And so it really just depends on if you're watching it through Netflix, if they're releasing it like all 16 episodes at a time. Some dramas they release 8 episodes at a time. This one they release week by week, and I think that they've started to do that a lot more, and I really like it. And I just love Stranger. Stranger is so good. If there's a drama that I would say you have to watch, it's Stranger. It's so good, especially for the lawyer genre. For the romance genre, I mean, all of these could be considered romance genres, truly, because there's just always romance in every drama. You can find it. I don't think I can count my rewatches of Goblin or Memories of the Alhambra. Those are obviously dramas that I could watch over and over and over again, and I'm actually watching Goblin for a third time with Korean subtitles to try and learn, because at this point, with the amount of K-dramas that I've seen, I should honestly be fluent, and it's really sad that I just am not. For the 2 predominantly romance dramas that I will recommend that you watch, one everyone recommends, and it took me so long to watch it, but Crash Landing on You was so good. It lived up to the hype. It was amazing. It was just so good. I loved it so much. It was so interesting. The actors were amazing. It was just a really good time, and it's on the top of all of the K-drama lists to watch, and even a lot of my friends who don't watch as many K-dramas have gotten really into it. And literally my whole family watched it together. My dad, all of my sisters, except for one. And the other romance drama that I would recommend is While You're Sleeping. That had a really interesting concept. I'm a huge fan of like, I don't know, movies and television shows about dreams. Like, this is just really cool. So that's kind of like the premise of the show, is that like the main character has premonitions through dreams. It's just a very interesting concept. Oh my god! Hotel Del Luna! I also watched Hotel Del Luna. Hotel Del Luna was really good. I love IU. I would really recommend that drama. I did watch Hotel Del Luna as well. See, this is why I needed you here.
That seems like forever ago, though. How long ago was that?
It was at the beginning of quarantine, I think. On April 15th was when we watched Hotel Del Luna. It was in April. And then I watched In the Soup. In the Soup was so good. It's BTS's journey into the soup. That's all I have to say about that. We had the last episode to watch. That one came out yesterday. Mm-hmm. So, almost done with that. One more episode. Could not recommend In the Soup more. BTS basically goes into the forest and they just like live their lives, and it's just, for some reason, just the greatest thing I've ever seen in my life. So that that was all over the place. Those are the TV shows that I watched in like the last 6 months. Games I'll talk about games before I get into movies. The games that I have played in this time have been Animal Crossing. We know and love that I have been obsessed with Animal Crossing the past 6 months. I do want to do a 5-star island tour. In that game, I have consistently played every single day since it came out. I did get into Among Us. It's so funny because my friend told me about this game like literally 2 weeks before it just blew up on the internet. So I've been playing that a lot and it's just been so fun. Like, I'm just with everyone. It's like Mafia, except it's on a spaceship and it's just, it's so much fun. And then I have dabbled in Minecraft, Fortnite, and Roblox. However, for each of those, I basically played once and then I stopped. And I will go back to them because in Minecraft, I'm building a bridge. So I need to finish building my bridge. And my sisters want me to do live streams of that. So I don't know if I want to do that because I'm kind of not good at gaming whatsoever. But I just thought I'd put in what games I've been playing. Mostly because I want to talk about Animal Crossing. I literally really did play Roblox for one day. Okay. Now that's done. Let's look into the movies that I've seen in the last 6 months. Where is, my Letterboxd. The good thing about Letterboxd is that it literally tells me exactly what I have watched in the past few months. So, according to Letterboxd, my most watched actor is Robert Pattinson with 8 films. That's super special. I watched Tenet and all of the Twilight movies, like the first Twilight movie I did watch 4 times, and I don't regret it. And then we also watched Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire. We rewatched. I watched Nightcrawler, Twilight, The Craft, The King, Twilight, Breaking Dawn, Part 2, Breaking Dawn Part 1, Eclipse, New Moon, Twilight again, Goblet of Fire, Tenet, Birds of Prey, Chungking Express, Forces of Nature, Train to Busan, Howl's Moving Castle, Howl's Moving Castle again, Bay of Angels, Snowpiercer, Little Women, Cleo from 5 to 7, No Country for Old Men, Barbie, Princess and the Pauper, Force Majeure. I watched Force Majeure like literally 4 times because that was for school. Do I count the movies I watched for school? That's pretty much all I've watched in the past 6 months, actually. So really, I haven't watched that many movies. I would say my favorite movie that I watched in the past 6 months has been Howl's Moving Castle. I never watched Howl's Moving Castle until I got HBO Max, and it's on HBO Max, and I loved it. I also really like Tenet. I know there's been some mixed reviews on the internet, but I really did like Tenet. And of course, the Twilight movies were so good. Would watch Twilight again. I did live tweet our Twilight marathon. And if you missed it, follow me on Twitter for more Twilight content. I basically only tweet about Twilight and retweet tweets about BTS. That's basically my entire Twitter. I don't tweet about anything else these days. In the past 6 months, at least. And then for books, let's look. So I read 4 books in the past 6 months. That's really sad. That is not a lot at all. I'm working on it. I'm trying to read more. I have a lot of books on my iPad. Oh, absolutely do not recommend. Was it? Oh, it was Conversations with Friends. And then I read By the River Piedra, I Sat Down and Wept. But that's by Paulo Coelho. And then I read Call Me By Your Name. It was okay. I have mixed feelings. But then, to top it all off, I read the 3 Crazy Rich Asians books. And they did not disappoint. Love it. Crazy Rich Asians, I've seen like 5 times. And so I was like, I need to read the book. So I read the book and then I became obsessed and I read all 3 of them in a week. I love Astrid, best character. Can't wait for the second movie because Astrid's story. I hear is going to be the main plot of the film. So I'm very excited about that. That's it. That's all I've done. That was all the television shows I've watched, I think. I probably forgot a bunch because really in that conversation that was just a lot going on. Hopefully I can edit that to make a little bit of sense. And all the games I played, the books I've read, and the movies I've watched. And next time I hope that I will do this more often so I can keep track of the TV shows I watch especially. Thank you so much for watching today's video. I hope this was a fun time. I'm just trying to keep track of the television shows I watch, honestly. And I hope that maybe you have a new TV show from this video, or a movie, or a book. I didn't really talk much about the other ones, but yes, thank you so much for watching. Again, I will see you next time in the next video. Look out for Vlogoween, which will be happening at the end of October as I prepare myself for Vlogmas. I really want to do it this year, so I'm really excited. And okay, now I'm gonna go. Okay, goodbye.